Today, a recap of lip sync and damage to a UNF employee's car. Stay tuned because Spinnaker News starts right now. And good morning, Ospreys. I'm Tedlin Locke, and thanks for tuning in to Spinnaker News on Spinnaker Television. Here are today's top stories. Last night, the 15th annual lip sync took place in the Lazara Performance Hall. The winners were Alpha Chi Omega and Sigma Chi with dance titled Freak Show. Kappa Delta and Sigma Alpha Epsilon took second place with Stranded, and Kappa Alpha Theta, Chi Phi, and Kappa Alpha claimed third place with Happy Never After. A UNF employee reported that someone scratched FU on the front passenger door of her vehicle. According to a UNFPD report, she said she usually parks her car in lot 2, but on that particular day she parked in garage 44. The victim also noticed a deep scratch next to the front passenger window and a long scratch along the passenger side of her vehicle. She said she couldn't think of anyone who could possibly be a suspect. The officer estimated the damage to be around $500. All right, Ospreys, let's check in with Catherine Marsh for your weather update.
Good morning, Ospreys, and happy Friday. I'm Catherine Marsh here with your Spinnaker weather update. This dreary weather has finally come to an end, and as you can see in our current conditions, we're looking at mostly cloudy skies with a high near 57 and a low near 40. It's still going to be breezy, however, with northeast winds at around 9 to 15 miles per hour. Moving on to tonight, we're going to start to see clouds coming in and temperatures dropping to about 47. Still breezy as well with north wind around 11 to 16 miles per hour. And for our waves, Surfline reports that waves are about 1 to 2 feet, which is about knee to thigh high. And finally, for this weekend, we have about 50% chance of showers on Saturday with a high near 57. And for Sunday, there's a 30% chance of showers with a high near 70. Well, that's it for today's weather update. Now let's take a look at your weekend forecast.
Thanks, Catherine. Now here's Alex Krotz for your sports report.
Thanks, Tedlin. Hey there, Ospreys. Alex Krotz here filling in for Alex Gatlin. We've got a sports-filled weekend ahead of us, so let's take a look at what's coming up. Let's start with today. Although they'll be away, the baseball team will be kicking off their weekend against St. John's in Charleston, South Carolina at noon. And if you're looking to get outside today, the softball team starts their second home tournament of the year. First, they'll take on Kansas at 2:30 and then Siena at 4:45. And then tomorrow, the women's tennis team kicks things off as they travel to Georgia Southern at noon. The baseball team will continue their games into tomorrow. They start the day off at noon playing St. John's again, then Charleston Southern at 6 p.m. And the softball team will continue their home tournament on Saturday, where they host Kansas at 2:30 again and South Dakota at 7. Lastly, the men and women's basketball teams will be in action tomorrow. The Lady Ospreys will play in DeLand, where they face the Stetson Hatters at 1 p.m. And the men will host Stetson at 7 p.m. If the men win this one, they will clinch home court advantage through the whole ASUN tournament. And on Sunday, the baseball team finishes up their weekend in Charleston by taking on Charleston Southern again at 2. The softball team will finish their home tournament against Stony Brook at 2:30. Also, the women's golf team will kick off day 1 of the Kiowa Island Classic in South Carolina. The men's golf team will be in action all weekend as they host their annual event, The Hate, at TPC Sawgrass. The tournament has a stacked lineup of teams, including 2-time defending national champions, Alabama. And finally, on Saturday and Sunday, the men's and women's tracks teams will be in Winston-Salem, North Carolina for the ASUN Championships. Well, that's what's coming up in your sports forecast. Tedlin, back to you.
Thanks, Alex. Well, that's all the time we have for you today on Spinnaker News. But for more on the stories reported today and other stories, you can check out unfspinnaker.com. You can also like the Spinnaker on Facebook at facebook.com/UNFSpinnaker, and you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at UNFSpinnaker. For Catherine Marsh and Alex Krotz, I'm Tedlin Locke. Have a great day, UNF.